What's up, beautiful people, and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crystal and this is Bond Book Reviews, and today we are officially in the middle of the year. It is June. It is the middle of June, and so I figure it is time for a mid-year check-in. Now, there are various statistics and things that we're going to be going through in this video. I'll try and have things timestamped down below, so if there's a particular thing you want to know about, hopefully we'll have done this in a logical way so that you can go to that particular part of the video. Not only will I be giving a reading update, I'll also be giving kind of like a life update as well for anyone interested. So we'll obviously start with reading because that's why you're all here, is for my book content. But if you want to hang around, there'll be some life updates at the end. So let's dive into some statistics. First, we will start with how many books I have read. Then we will dive into my favorite book of the year, my least favorite book of the year, my most disappointing book of the year, and then we will probably go into my most surprising book of the year. So the thing that I didn't think was going to be good, but like really surprised me. And then we'll probably finish up with like some extra little statistics about like the types of genre I've been reading and how well I'm going with finishing series, all the fun like check-in stuff that you see, right? So how many books have I read? Drop in the comments below your guess now and see if you are right. If you follow me on Goodreads, you've probably already seen. If you don't follow me on Goodreads, the link is down below. Okay, so let's talk about my favorites, my least favorites, the things that made me happy, the things that didn't. This video is kind of going to be in 3 parts. We have our intro, we're going to have this, and then I probably won't get a chance to give you the statistic stuff till later because I'm madly trying to get these filmed when baby's like napping and I've done everything else. So it's gonna probably be a bit chaotic and not make sense, but we're just rolling with it because this is what I have to do to get videos out to you right now. So my favorite book of the year so far, obviously a lot of people are gonna have this on their list, has to be Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I was in a fantasy slump. I was over fantasy, I was not enjoying it. And then this book just like brought back the same kind of enjoyment I had when reading things like The Divergent and things like that earlier on in my reading life. So I'm sorry if you can hear banging. Addie is in the playpen with Anthony and they are playing stack blocks. So if you can hear banging, I'm sorry. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite book of the year. My least favorite book of the year, well, there's a few contenders, but I would have to probably say that it would be, the experience I had with it was fun, but the least favorite book in terms of like an actual good quality book would have to be Cookies for My Orc Neighbor. This was absolute trash. It was the most terribly written book ever. The only reason why I got through it was that I buddy read it with the besties on live and with a bunch of you guys, and it was really fun, and that's probably the only reason why I finished it. But in terms of an actual story, it was horrible. I mean, there's a couple of DNFs I have, but I don't count those in my worst because I didn't actually finish it, so I can't really include it in this. For my most surprising read, I have to go with Dark Mode by Ashley Kalajian-Blake. I have talked about this in multiple different places. It's the first thing that comes to my mind when someone says to me a surprising read or a read that you didn't expect to get as much enjoyment out of. So this one made me question my entire internet existence. It was so spooky. There was a lot of twists, none that I guessed. It's by an Australian author based in Australia, and it was fantastically written and a very surprising read. You go into it expecting one thing and you get something completely different, but in like the best kind of way. So that would have to be my most surprising read of the year. And then probably my most disappointing read of the year, so one that like I was really expecting a lot of things from that I didn't enjoy as much, would have to be The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. Don't come at me, Sarah J Maas fans. I love the rest of the series. I have been loving it so far. This, however, was just the most disappointing read. I think it's because I went into it with such high expectations. A lot of people say that they love this one and this is something like the best part of the series, and that they really, really enjoy it and think it makes everything. I disliked it. 2 out of the 3 novellas I wasn't even really interested in. So that was my most disappointing read. It was not a bad read, just most disappointing because I had such high expectations. Favorite, least favorite, disappointing, surprising. So that's it. Let's get into the statistics, you know, the fun part of this. So it is time for the second half of my mid-year check-in. I didn't get a chance to finish it logically when we first started. So now is the statistics side of things. So I'll be putting like little graphs up here. This is based off my core pile sheet. I go through, fill stuff in, it spits it all out for me. If you want something like this, the core pile is from G from Book Roast, which I'll have linked down below. I've made a couple modifications to mine, but that's a general template. If you're looking for something like that, then I'll have her linked down below. So my total average of like books read per month has really decreased this year. We're ranging anywhere from 4 to like 7, which is not a lot. I used to get like 12s and 13s. As you can see, I'll probably pop in last year's one as well, and you'll see the difference. As that also includes how many pages I'm reading as well. So it's not like I'm reading more pages and less books, I'm just reading less in general. My page count ranges for anywhere from like 1,000 all the way up to 2,200 or so, but still way less amount of pages than I was reading last year. So my total page count so far this year is 10,045. And my total amount of hours that I've listened to audiobooks is 210.75 hours. My big listening months this year were February and March, but I'm averaging around 17 all the way up to 55 hours of listening time in a month, depending on how much I watch TV. When we looked at my method of choice in terms of what kind of reading I would choose, mixed media is definitely like my high priority. 50% of my reading is mixed media, and that means to me I read a physical or an ebook while also listening to the audiobook. Second to that this year is actually surprising, is ebooks with 21%, and then followed by audiobook only, which is 12%. And that is because a lot of the time I'm listening to an audiobook because I already had the physical, not because I'm just choosing to pick an audiobook. As usual, my predominant genres are fantasy, romance, and thriller. I mean, that hasn't changed. When we break down my book length in terms of the average number of pages that a book is that I'm reading, it's all over the place. There's no real key thing that I'm kind of prioritizing. Generally though, I'm in that kind of like 350, 450 range most of the time. However, with all of my random small novellas and romance books that I've been reading, I do have quite a number in the 200 to 500 range. What I love is this year, my spread of publishers is all over the place, but predominantly I'm reading independent, which makes me so happy. It makes my heart sing. So that is a really good statistic that I'm happy of this year. What I'm not happy about is how many 5-star books that I'm getting this year. I only have 21% of the books that I have read are falling in that 5-star category, and only 30% in the 4-star, which means that 50% of my reads have been 3-star and under. That's depressing. In previous years, I read a lot of YA and middle grade. This year, I'm definitely amping it up into the adult category. The older I get, I'm starting to really feel like YA middle grades are like a palate cleanse rather than a predominant read for me. So I'm definitely more in the adult category so far, with 75% of my books being in the adult range. My range of like publishing year is very different than previous years. I've actually been reading a lot more new release books. Obviously, with me starting to work at Booktopia, I'm reading books that are being released early. And I'm also reading books for the podcast and things like that. So I'm reading a lot more 2023 releases than I usually would. I'm usually a backlist reader. So you can see, obviously, some of my 2023 releases, my percentage has definitely gone up. So how I got the book, the spread is fantastic. I'm really happy with this. It was always a goal of mine to try and read more of my physical books that I own. So 41% of the books that I have read have been from my own physical collection, and a remainder of them have been from my library. So I mean, I'm not actually physically going and getting extra books. Obviously, I have had 9% of these be ARCs because, you know, with me working in the industry, I do read a lot of ARCs, but I am happy that a lot of them are my owned titles. So I do have a good spread between series and standalones, kind of almost a 50-50 spread, which is really interesting because usually I'm a series lover. So I'm loving that I'm getting a few more standalones in. And the best part about it is I've started 8 series this year, but I have read 10 sequels. So I am definitely working through my series that I've already started with. So there you have it. There's my mid-year check-in. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't got a comment for down below, then you can drop a pie emoji down below because of how many pie grabs we had in this video. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend and happy reading. Bye.